Hi, end of day, the 5th of June. Just going through and having a quick look, just having a look how we've seen the VIX charging. So we've seen these couple of charges since we came off this this tight liquidity here is reactive liquidity from the drop in price. We'll just have a look, just go out to 4 hours to have a better look at that. So we can see here as the VIX has been rising up into its last top, it's just being fed by surface liquidity, so you had to look in really closely, and then you can see this great big bounce here is reactive liquidity as it's dropped back into that liquidity. Then the last little bit, one last bit of reactive liquidity, and then it's had a bounce, this sort of mean reversion that we see. But then we've had two really good charges, and we can see that that's both in the VIX here in the 8 cap and also in the VIX futures. So the VIX futures have got 8 different futures in them, just so we get a really broad have a look at what it's doing. So I have noted that charging. I hadn't really noted too much of what happens in the main indexes because I thought we would get a bump yesterday, and we did, and it was a good trade, and then we did get a drop. I probably wasn't completely cognizant that the drop might come yet. We hadn't yet seen a trigger for it, but we've definitely seen a trigger today. If we just drop and have a look at the main markets, we can just see this building here. Let's just change these just so you can see what I change. I'm going to go to the MAG because that's where the action is. So if I just change these through to the MAG, we will see what's happening in the MAG, and it's been really quite loose for a couple of days. It has had some bouncing around, but we can just see here the top level. Here we go. Look, we can see how loose it's been over the period of this week. The top is the top 3 indicators are all the SPICs, being the day New York time traded, and we can see that we've really had a couple of squeezes. We had a squeeze and a bounce there, then we've had a squeeze back up. Here we've had buying into today, so even in yesterday we did see buying, even though it wasn't, as I would have said yesterday, it wasn't seen in the indexes. Sorry, it wasn't seen in the MAG. This morning we got a little bit of buying into the MAG, into the close, and then in this morning we had a bit of buying in the MAG as it opened up, and then it started selling again, and it sold off quite hard in all of the MAG. Let's just have a quick look at the NDX. Again, the NDX is quite the same, hard selling off this top, so it's had a nice rise through into the opening, through to lunchtime, and then it's got hard and got short. Let's just have a look what we can see the same here. This is in the ETF, so what we can see there is that we've had the same reaction in I've hit the wrong one there, in the retail ETFs. They've probably even gone harder a bit earlier. They've judged it. But as we can see, there was a little bit of buying into the start of the day with the MAG, thinking we were going to break out, but we definitely haven't broken out. So that's sort of surface liquidity we're seeing there. Definitely not the same in Bitcoin. If we just change the Bitcoin here, it's just a nice way to have a look. I always think that Bitcoin is a leading indicator. I do actually have to change one of my Bitcoins out. I've got a Bitcoin future in there which is a little bit misleading. I think that it's Capital.com. It's just bringing in too much incorrect data. I picked a regular. What have I got there? Yeah, so here we can see, I think that this is probably a bit of a false one here, because we're just not seeing it. We're seeing it. This is the Bitcoin group, and they're definitely started to come up off this bottom and go short, and they've gone short much earlier than we've seen in this particular one. I have to go and have a look at that and see why that's doing that. I think this Capital.com here is the one it's just got too much. Oh no, it looks pretty strong there. It's pretty similar. It's got a lot of energy going into that. I'm just looking at up here. The actual number of contracts is very high in this Capital.com. It's really pulling a group of them, and because it's so strong, it's leading through into upsetting the actual group of them. All right, now we've had a look at those. Let's just have a quick look. The TLT is the other thing that I've been watching. So we've had a quick look at the VIX. So let's have a look at the TLT. The TLT has had quite a lot of buying through the bottom, and then today it's opened up, and just don't look at these bottom ones. and we can see that it's got quite sort of sticky at the top here. There's a little bit of hedging in it. It still is long, but I think we're going to hang around this sort of price, and the price at the moment is about the. It's dropped down a little bit from the 5 down to about 490 in the 20-year, and in the 10-year it's at about 4.4, 4.3. I think we'll probably be somewhere in this area on both of those. Here's the 30-year. The 30-year, it's softened a little bit up the top. It's had a lot of strong buying, and then it's softened as it's got up to the top here. All right, so that's going to be something that's affecting it. The Dixie has bounced around. I think that we'll start to see in the Dixie, we sort of a bit of buying here. We might start to see a bit of risk off. It might actually just keep on. We might see repatriation of funds overseas as we see this current spat going on between Elon and Trump. People are just going to leave for the safety of other markets and probably into gold. I haven't had a look at gold really today, but we can see here that it's had a really strong buy during the day. So gold is going to be well worth buying possibly against your currencies. Your currencies might be looking quite good. You can see the Aussie's got a little bit long here, but it's opened the day a bit short. The currencies will be driven by the effects of the Dixie repatriating, but you want an outside effect, and I think that probably silver is going to give you the outside effect if it hasn't already. See, silver's opened up early there. It's picked up this problem in the spat. It's had a couple of really good days, and you can see generally it has been green and deeper green than has been red. Obviously, you get this mean reversion as things pump up. All right, let's just have a quick look at what it looks like behind the screen. So here, the first thing I'm looking at is I'm looking that we had quite a big buy in coming into the last OPEX. This is big defensive, so it's got a range of defensive stocks in it. It's not looking really strong. If we look at it in the background, it's got quite a lot of heavy hedging, and has had some buying. So it's a funny market. I think that's got something to do with the virus. I think the virus and Novavax, NVAX is probably charged to take off tomorrow. I might do a video on that later. We'll just have a look at the other things I've been looking at. So this is the SPX, and the SPX, this is both the weeklies, the SPXW and the SPX. We can see that it's quite strong. I would have thought, this is in the short dated stuff, that we've seen a bit of selling here. We're actually stronger in out of the money SPX than we are in the money, suggesting that people are expecting to go short. We can also see that we've had quite a large move here, just some small players and some bigger players out wide here. If we just put a filter on, this is a 0.5 filter, so these are all in the money. So we can see we've gone from sort of 60 to 75,000, 65,000 to 75,000. And yes, we are holding up. This is because of this thing. Oh, I'm one day out there. I just click that, sorry, bit of stupidity happening there. We can see that we had a bit of closing there, and today we've really held these. But the positioning is generally these ones that are hidden here in the out of the money with the filter on. The positioning has been moving across. So if I swung that filter around, we'll see that on both sides that we've got heavier positioning in the puts. So let's swing this around to 0.5 to 0. Oh, I've gone the wrong way around. Doesn't want to do that. Let's try that at 0 to 0.5. Always learning new tricks. So we can see this really increase in build and increase in hedging generally across the market. We've seen an increase in hedging. So that's the SPIX. Let's just have a look. The TLT, we just saw, this is in the puts are in the red here. We just see a little bit extra hedging. TLT really is quite good at the moment. We saw a bit of a build, but I think that it's sort of flattened out. Judging by this, it looked really heavy one day, like it was going to go down. Then we've had some good figures during the week, and it's flattened out. And I think that it'll be flat for a while. If we just go through the stocks that I would look at, so here's the SPY. We've got a build in the SPY here. We've also got out of the money. This could be the selling because of vol. I don't know why these in the money calls are there. I've got that the right way around. But we can see here we're starting to get some out of the money calls going, and those out of the money calls, that's very telltale of the selling at the top of the market. And we've got in the money puts here. We'll just have a look through. I think it's really in the mags, but here again, this is the Qs, very similar, but it's much weaker. It started to weaken a lot earlier than the SPY did, and the TQQ it has been short, really quite short for a week. You can see it's really starting to lose here. It's nearly all out of the money and has moved in there, and I've noted that in my daily updates. I know that you guys just get me looking at the surface liquidity when I run it, but we do in Meme Stock Watch and Simply Options, we do put this data up every day. So here again, this is the SPXL. You can see it's really swung. This is in the money calls. So they really shut down just after OPEX, and they have moved across to in the money puts. So people have been shorting the market. The TNA, not so much. The TNA is still quite balanced. But again, there's more out of the money. There's more in the money. It's just a gradual move across. It's not quite as hard as we've seen in the other. I think that the rut was harder. But here, I mean, have a look at this move across at the start of the week. It's had a big swing across, even though you can't see it in the filtering. This is a lot of out of the money stuff being sold, and in the money, it's just creeping in here. So if I just slowly change that filter down, you'll just see those puts creep across, and with some weight. So here I'm down to about 0.25. Let's just see what that does when I reset it. You can see that it is, although it's not really heavy, it's really never picked up. All right, I hope that helps you. So I'm expecting to go short sometime in the market. I'd like to see a bounce back up, some sort of mean reversion of today. Tops always take a long time to form, and will keep us up to date. I'll definitely keep our rooms up to date on what swings here with these in the money puts to see if they change and if the market flattens. But at the moment, it's looking pretty short. Here's the SPXL. You can see this is the longer data calls. It has been and this is the longer data puts. You can see it just moving across slowly. All right, have a good Friday's trading for the 6th of the 6th. Sorry that's a longer video, but it's worth having a good rundown of everything. Thank you very much.